Finance for Hippies is recorded at the Goethe Institute in Johannesburg, South Africa. They enable arts and cultural organizations to be more entrepreneurial so they can create a better society.
The Goethe Institute does this through a global network of hubs where local creatives act as a driving force of economy and culture.
Hit him swag. 2015, cool kid, I met Ndarkie told me, TeethSwag, I saved him, no ways, dude. I told him, odd over money. I told him, dude, odd over money. 3 years passed and my palm's still not itchy. Bank account still small like MT's peepee. Streets need me, Ndarkie, can you feel me? That's why we dropped Finance for Hippies.
Swag and Ndarkie. Who needs a budget? Dude, really? Finance for who? Sounds silly. As I think about it, my credit cards are through the ceiling. You don't need a loan. I'll pay you back. Sasa's kicking in on the 15th for sure.
The show is Ndarkie and TeethSwag, Finance for Hippies.
We were having a convo with Ndarkie and he was talking about finances. And he was telling me how in the art world, what we call hippies, probably don't want to be called hippies. The finances are not what apparently they should be. So Ndarkie then raised I think a very solid topic, which is financial literacy. That at a certain point as an adult you need to have a certain level of knowledge when it comes to your finances in order to really try and make it.
In order to adult.
Exactly. So that's what really brought the idea of the show, because we wanted to, I guess, speak to people, people in different sections of society.
Mainly creatives though.
Okay. And tapping other people who have different other types of thinking to see how they maybe, which principles do they adhere to handle their finances. How we started this idea and what led to the first episode of Where Did My Money Go?
That's what it is. It's Where Did My Money Go? You kept calling me Ndarkie, by the way. And you are Ndarkie.
He's trying to pass on the name.
Now he's getting confused. What's up. But yeah, man, I think that's what we're trying to play at. Ndarkie wants to be a rapper. He's chilling. He's all the serious stuff, but like also, he needs to rap. His mixtape needs to drop this year.
I need to.
You know what I mean? And that's the most critical thing.
Just to give you a little background on, I guess, our different profiles. So I'm not in the arts whatsoever.
Same.
I'm in the system as a rat.
You're in the Matrix.
No, I'm in the Matrix. I've been in there for years. I have a background in finance, from schooling to career in treasury and all sorts of things. So meeting up with Teeth here, it's like two different worlds colliding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm always envying Ndarkie because it's the other fans.
From my side, obviously, I do know Kuda a bit. Known him for a while. It's quite deep. But so I think the value add is obviously like from my side of an artist and a creative, and it's just like somebody we just have like who really has no clue, like actual like financial literacy, actual like budgeting, bro, is like
something I was gonna touch on.
So I think that's what we're gonna play around here. We are drinking coffee clip single vineyard, which we bought ourselves, which
is not sponsored.
Which is not sponsored. And
I'm
basically
having the Chardonnay.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously we
this is not an endorsement.
Real from the ground stuff, and we're just like using the Goethe Institute to kind of see if we can bring the stuff to life. So maybe can give him a chance to introduce himself. What's up?
Cool.
And before you do that, your LinkedIn profile says Kudakwashe Samkange, deal origination, financial markets professional, in brackets blockchain and fintech, currently learning machine learning and AI. Kuda, what do you do? What is not? All creatives know that you have more money than they through these things.
So, I mean, simply put, I mean, all the other complicated stuff is just me sort of advancing myself. But when it comes down to it, I'm a financial markets professional. I've got a background in investment management, commodities trading, and now I'm deep in blockchain and cryptocurrencies.
Which is hot right now. It's very hot.
So I mean, this is a topic I'm definitely passionate about. Because like you said earlier, there's a lot of people, even financial services professionals, right, who just don't have their money in order. Their relationship with money is not in a good place, right? So that's one. But with creatives, it's a whole different beast. and this is coming from creators themselves. I've surrounded myself. Oh, I forgot to mention. You forgot to mention. No, I wouldn't put it on LinkedIn, but I'm passionate about art. Just, you know,
Yeah. It really is. It really is.
like,
It really is.
God's biggest joke was just not giving me any talent in there.
So So as you're saying, continue.
Yeah, so I was saying with creators, I feel like there's a lot of attention that needs to be put to actually help creatives. And I feel like there's a lot of reasons why the situation is like that, right?
Okay.
Number one, I feel like creative degrees, diplomas, whatever school programs are letting creatives down, right? From an education point, there just isn't enough emphasis on business and money management. Right? And I don't know why. If you considering that majority of creatives are actually going to be, I mean, they're self-employed essentially, right? So they're essentially going to be business owners, like if they're going to be successful creatives. So I feel like the system, from an education point of view, completely letting them down.
Guys, when you're trying to drop a mixtape and now you're telling
No, but you know, that point is right. When I grew up, right?
Yeah.
Truth of the matter, all these, where I am, it was just the flow. You were just pushed into a certain career or what.
Yeah.
Preferably, I'm sure I would have been an artist if I wanted to. But for some reason, someone told me there's no money in being a musician.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
So somebody told you the truth.
No, actually, I think there is a lot of money in there. If you, like Kuda said, it's an actual business.
It's an actual business.
So if you run it as a business, it should, you know, provide you a good return at the end of the day.
Cool.
So, I mean, classic game, just to touch on what you say, there's no money in music, there's no money in art, but the people who approach those, you know, two spheres with a business mind make it. Because think about it, even if you think of some of the biggest names in hip hop or music or art in general, if you compare them with their peers, most of the time they're not even the most talented in their space, but they understand the business side of things.
That's what they said about Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
Apparently they asked the question, what does Puff Daddy actually do?
Yeah.
He doesn't rap, he doesn't produce the
DJ Khaled.
Or DJ
Yeah,
Khaled.
like I was surprised. I only recently found out, like maybe a year or two ago. I'm like, all along I thought those were all his beats. I was like,
No. Because he was sampling a lot.
Yeah.
He wasn't writing the hooks.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Your point was then going on to that, what, like, you thinking, your intro.
Oh yeah, so I was just listing some of the reasons why I feel like creatives have a terrible, most creatives, not all, most creatives have a terrible relationship with money. So the first point I raised was the system is letting us down. Like the degrees, the diplomas, the what. I don't think they're putting enough emphasis on the business, that's one. Two, I don't think the financial services space has reached this level where they truly understand or consider creatives as an important market. They're not recognizing them. So I don't know if anyone, right, an asset manager or financial planning firm or whatever, that has really taken focus and aimed at developing products, right, or services that help creatives. I know in the States, I mean, there's one financial planning firm, I think it's called La Runa. But the fact that I can list one from the States out of...
What do La Runa do?
They're a financial planning firm.
Okay.
I think La Runa or I'll check it up. I'll send you the details.
Okay, cool.
So they're a financial planning firm that focuses on
We'll cut it up.
Create, yeah.
Afterwards, you'll say the real name.
Yeah, cool.
And then we'll add it to your statement.
No, that's actually a very good point.
Yeah, so they focus on their financial planning firm that focuses on helping creators manage their money.
Oh, yes, sir.
But they're based in the States and they just focus on the American market.
Okay.
Locally, I haven't come across anyone who's doing that. So anyway, yeah.
But I think what LaRue now or whoever they are, which we will find out a bit later, it's pretty hard to pull off. I've encountered a few creatives, and creatives, you know, are really not all about the money. Sorry, you guys are about
the TeethSwag is cashing out.
Creatives are about, you know, everything else other than the
My
money.
next point was actually going to touch on it.
You know, when you're trying to switch them back to the, you know, the economics of things, saying, oh, look, dude, we're going to drop so many thousands on this exhibition. It's going to have so much reach. You know, I don't see the economics of it. Maybe you can show me how it's going to work out. You know, creatives don't look at it as to how it's going to...
Let me like give you guys a real thing, like a real scenario. Like I had like an argument, not an argument, but like I actually went off even at a friend of mine this morning, because I'd asked him, he's a creative, he's very talented, super talented, and I kind of asked him like, okay, dude, I told him like, yo, dude, if you want to do this thing of yours, this photography, blah blah, you know, films, all this type of stuff of yours, you need to actually, I need to see, like, write up what your dream is, then start quantifying it. And then we can kind of break it down into, like, okay, what are actually the cost implications of bringing this idea of yours to life? This is a guy with an honors degree. Like, he's smart, he's gotten, you know, his media, he's got all the right creative education. So we've been talking about this for, like, 2 weeks or whatever. And this morning, he sends me an email. And... it's got a half a page proposal explaining the idea, just like talking again about like the dream. And then I lost my mind. I said a whole lot of things I think I shouldn't have said. But what I'm telling you is, how do you talk to that guy? How do you explain to that guy, like a person like that, that listen, this is great, but like it needs money to actually make happen, you know. You need to actually understand how to cost your dream. That is how like hectic and bad stuff is. But there's also no, it's like there's no, you know, relationship. How do you...
I've got to jump in because this touches on what I was saying exactly, right? That some of these programs, I mean, you're saying this guy's got an honors degree in the creative space, so he's got the qualifications, but you know, and the creative space is a space of bringing dreams to life. Right?
Cool.
How in his entire program, degree program, honors program, whatever else he's studying, how in that entire program was he not taught how to just bring a dream, basic, right?
But because also his lecturer has now it's gonna sound like I'm going in lectures. But no, you can't also blame the lecturers, because I think the lecturers are doing what they have to do. You get what I'm saying? If your job is to teach the art history course, the painting course,
so this is not targeted at lecturers, right? Because you're saying lecturers teach a certain discipline. What I'm looking at a slightly higher level, the people who design the programs. Because remember, the person who designs a degree is not the actual lecturer, right? There's someone who's the program coordinator or the program director who writes the curriculum, and then then different lecturers will then teach on certain specialties, right? So I'm just saying at a slightly higher level. So this is not an attack on any given lecturer. We're just saying there should be more talk and lectures and education around how to start a business, how to manage a business, how to manage your money. At a system level, a lot of degrees, and I'm speaking from, like, after we had a chat yesterday, I literally just started just Googling different programs. I mean, I don't want to mention specific schools, but I looked at them and I'm like...
They need to pay for adverts. We are a startup company.
So I'm looking at these programs, degree programs, diplomas, and I'm like, they are letting these kids down. They're not giving them a fighting chance. It's not involved for these kids to be talented and have dreams and have all these creative skills. If they can't monetize it.
No, dude, they can't even we can't even budget, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that now, dude. I think in my whole life, and I'm 31 years old.
Yeah.
I probably really set my first serious budget last month. I swear to you.
No, you'd be
I'm
surprised.
telling you the blatant honest truth. Like the first time I ever set a budget, which I completely went off, but literally for 2 months.
Yeah.
That's the first time I ever did that. But when you get back to this thing of we're saying like, where did my money go, right? That's like what we kind of...
You see, a budget, people don't take budgets seriously, even in corporates. I encountered budgeting in corporates. Truth of the matter, I've never taken it seriously.
What do you mean you encountered budgeting in like?
So what corporates do is that every year they do a budget. The government, every institute really does a budget for
That
a
is
year.
crazy. I don't think most artists have never. I'm joking, man. I'm speaking myself.
As an organization or anything, you add, if I'm going
do
off,
budgets.
they look at what they want to do for the next year.
Yeah.
All the departments come in. They say let's say the Goethe says they want to fund our podcast. They add it to our budget. Reviewed, right?
Yeah.
You either are over or under.
Yeah.
Being over is a problem, so is being under. Under means you're not pursuing what you said you're supposed to pursue. That means the institute is not growing as it's supposed to be. Over means you're messing around and you're managing.
But that's within a corporate context.
Cool. So budgets, why I never respected budgets from a corporate perspective, it was the ramifications that came through when you were over budget. I have never heard of anyone getting fired because they were over budget.
As an individual, if you're hitting under the budget,
You're winning.
that's
Because you're spending less.
there's more money to then save and invest.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that later.
Governments have built bridges that were 3, 4, 10 times over budget.
The initial budget, yeah.
Our train was over budget. As long as you can provide a reason with some solid, not even solid base, some basis, you'll be. So
We
that's
need
why.
a budget mixtape. That's the first song.
That's why
Budgets.
budgets. I've never really much respected them from a corporate perspective. I respected more cash flow forecasts,
Okay.
which is another matter
Yeah,
altogether.
bro. Now you're doing big words.
no,
Cash flow.
No.
You see, this is what-
No,
this
it's
is
a
what
good
I'm
thing.
saying.
It's a good thing.
Remember the points I was going through. So I was like, the system failed us.
Yeah.
Financial services are letting down. My third point was, I feel like a lot of creatives are burying money because when we talk about money, we hit them with big words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So jagged. So like
Yeah.
we're using, so I see it a lot with mates in my space, right? When you're talking to someone who's not in the financial market space, like we lose them 30 seconds into the conversation.
Yeah.
Because you're now
No, you're
dropping
right.
statements that, simple statements like, you can lose someone when you just say, compound interest, or compound,
Yeah. Like you
unit
just-
trust, or
Yeah, like you
last
just,
year.
before you came here, I went to the chick there. Actually, the chick, the lady outside,
Yeah.
the chick there, and I was asking her, yo, man, like, what's a unit trust? Like, because now I don't wanna, But okay, I guess
Yeah.
you're on point with that.
So I was saying there needs to be more resources that just simplify. Simple English, explain what this. I always feel like if you can't explain an investment product in under 60 seconds in the most simplest way, then you're overcomplicating it.
Yeah, I know.
So I feel like there is a need to just
Dumb
shy
down the
away.
content.
Dumb it. I don't like the statement dumbing down because
Okay.
it's almost like you're implying that people are
dumb.
not so smart for not getting. No,
Yeah.
it's so we need to simplify.
Yeah.
That's
That's a
Or
very
you
good
need
point.
to make it cool for hippies.
yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
true. That's
Or
a,
you-
yeah. Just to go back to my budgets, yeah? Then I started doing for years. I've never actually done a budget. I did a rough calculation in my mind
Cool.
whenever I ran my finances.
This is mine. Top of the dome.
Freestyle.
Freestyle budget.
What do you need?
Okay.
I need to cover my rent. I need to get to work. I need to eat. Everything else, I could probably live without paying for it. You get what I'm saying? That's a rough budget. That's not even a budget. That's like a conception of your expenses.
You know that when you're making like an artwork, you will put your financing for the art you're making before any of the things you've just listed.
What do you mean? Do you explain the
If
cost
as
of
you'll put the cost of your mixtape, of your art, and I'm telling you, like there's people who will work like that. Anyway, continue. There's
No,
people
but
who I have done that myself. I have like, okay, cool. the most important thing in this life of mine right now is to complete this art thing that I'm creating. And you block out everything else that is related to actual living and being alive and sustaining your life. So that is...
Is that how you usually go sometimes into a project?
No, I mean, that's how you can execute like very high level projects sometimes. But the issue is, again, it comes from a place where when we're getting educated, everything else is on the side. Like, that's the truth. Like, there's nothing emphasis in terms of like budgeting or like just like managing yourself. You're literally being told, make art. That's it. That's it. Like, forget everything else. And I think at times it can be problematic because we get informed a lot by like how the Western world works. But here, it's a different dynamic, man, because we don't have the same kind of economy as like a Western kind of economy. So to tell, but we're still getting taught the same thing. You're still telling kids who just have got like nothing at home, no kind of, these kids don't have trust funds, they don't have like any kind of, you're telling them, just like focus on the art. And it's good to one extent, but it's also, you end up in a scenario where you've, you have just no like understanding of the fact that man, listen, like it's just like like pay our rent, food, basically.
So basically, you're just taught the art, but not how to make a living from art.
Basically.
That's the statement of the day, gents. How to make art, but not how to make a living out of art. You can code on that for sure.
Yeah.
One thing Teeth mentioned, you said you did a budget for a month.
No. I'm now
First budget ever.
That's the first budget ever.
Are you continuing with the
Yes. I'm continuing with it. Like literally every single day, I'm trying to look at how terrible I am at like money. And it's funny how in the beginning you're very strong, but like habits start picking up, and you start spending airtime on dumb things. You start like then you actually start, your habits start catching up with you, and you document reality.
So I had a list of solutions and stuff.
Yeah, please, man, hit us up on some.
And that's why we invited you.
Hit us up on some hacks.
So I structured
Coffee clip, man.
I structured it. I still wanted to talk a bit more about a few other things.
Yeah, cool. Hit us up.
So, but we can actually jump to budgets. It's fine because it's one of the first things I was going to look at, or at least talk to people about.
Okay.
You're saying you just drew up your first budget.
Yeah, January 2018.
In about 3 decades.
3 decades. 3 decades of life.
Hey, some people only start in their 50s, so it's better late than never. Okay, most people when it comes to budgeting don't know where to start. Now, because this is aimed at creatives, right?
Yeah.
We want to give them as many tools as possible.
Who are low income.
But I mean,
Why you keep doing
We get messy.
but you can still be high income and still have a bad relationship with money.
For sure.
I know guys who are taking home 350,000 rands a month.
Okay.
Right? But 2-3 days before payday.
it's
right?
critical.
And they all like, where did my money go?
Growing up, my dad used to say this a lot. It's like, it's not how much you earn. It's what you do with the money. And it never made sense. I just thought he was being a cheapskate. Now I'm older. I'm making my own little change. I make some money now. Like, I see it. Right? So anyway, budget is the starting point. Because if you don't know where your money is going, you're always going to ask yourself, where's my money going?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't know where it's coming from, where it's going, and you don't plan around it, you're actually never going to move forward in terms of your financial well-being. So if you've never done a budget, first thing you need to do is just download some budget software spreadsheet. Right?
Yeah.
There's lots of free
Spreadsheets. Now you're already.
Just a simple
spreadsheet.
No.
What is it on Word or Excel?
No. So there's obviously majority of them, if you download it or if you Google, majority of them are Excel based, right?
For sure.
But now a lot of them now have
Someone needs
more
a
user
Photoshop one.
or like a simple user interface. So there's a lot now that are being created for people who are not really numbers people.
Okay.
Right? You just download it and it literally literally prompts you. There's some, the really, really good ones, you might have to pay for.
Apps as well.
Exactly. Or some apps, or some budgeting apps. Yeah, or just download a budgeting app. Right? And a lot of these ones are quite cool because it's simple plug and play. You download it, it literally prompts you, right? So it breaks down your life into certain pillars, right?
Categories,
so essentials, that's your accommodation and food.
Okay.
You shouldn't skimp on those, no matter how big your project is. Like, you shouldn't be worrying about where you sleep.
What if this project is the one? What if this is the one that's gonna open the door?
First thing I'd say, if you are trying to get yourself on the right financial path, download a budget app or download some budgeting spreadsheet, right?
Okay.
Plug in the numbers. A lot of them, they're getting easier and easier and easier to use, so you don't even have to be a numbers person to figure it out.
Okay.
Right? Now, the next point.
Are there any maybe like sites, or you just like go Google it?
The one I use, I downloaded like 3 years ago.
Okay, cool, man.
3 or
Okay.
4 years ago. I think for this episode, our focus should be attitude towards money and budget.
Yeah.
If you're not looking at your bank statement, right, at least once a month, you're already starting off the wrong
For
foot.
how long? How long should it like what? Look at it and then what?
No, look at it and make sure that, okay, everything that I've paid for is something that I should be paying for, right? Like, because I mean, there was a point raised earlier where it said, like, banks make mistakes. Like, they can run a cost. You can have 200-300 rands just going off your account
Like
for
if I
2
were to
years
ask you, how
without
much do you pay for your bank charges per month?
I have no clue.
You see?
How dare you ask me that?
But
bro?
you paying per
The
month.
nerve
Yeah,
of that.
so it's
I don't
easy.
know
What
where
if
to
I were
look
to
now.
tell you pay $500 per
Don't know.
So it's what if you were? That's
I
exactly.
think 1 month there was like a month where I saw like a weird number like that. But I don't know.
And what action did you take?
What action did I take? I'm just an artist, bro. What action?
But why do you keep bringing this up as a defense?
but it's my defense. No, but I have a right to be financially.
What action do you think he can take when he doesn't even
Okay.
understand where his money is going?
Exactly.
So that's the starting point. You need to. So we can't talk about budgeting, right? When people aren't even looking at their bank statements.
Okay.
Because those two go hand in hand.
I feel like that needs a workshop. Bro.
Yeah.
I feel like
your bank statement literally tells you.
Ndarkie and TeethSwag workshops. I just like looking at your bank.
So you need to look at your bank statement and your budget as sisters, right?
Okay.
Opposite sisters. Your bank statement tells you where your money went. Your budget tells you where your money should go.
Okay.
These two should match.
No.
Okay.
If they're not
Like
matching,
that.
if they're not matching, you can't move forward. Like the conversation can't move forward. So those two things, and probably that's why we're focusing on these
Okay.
in this particular episode.
Yeah.
Look at your bank statement. Go through it. If the bank has charged you 50 rand more than it should, you need to get your money back.
Okay.
They didn't help you make it. You know?
But do you just go to the bank and be like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
And
eventually
so-
look at you.
I calculated this
So-
right.
So it's not just the bank. It's even things like you've heard about the 99 rand debit order scam.
No,
Right?
I've not heard about it.
No, it's one of the biggest scams. A lot of people don't even see that. No, I've actually lost 300 rands this month because 399 rand debit orders, that fraudulent debit orders went off. So if you're not looking at your statement, right, you'll feel the pain and not know where the pain is coming from. Like if you're just losing 300 rands every month, right, that you're losing because of some fraudulent activities, right? All of a sudden, you're broke 2-3 days before your next paycheck, right? Where that 300 rands could have changed everything,
And you
right?
know, the bank there's a certain insurance that they have against fraudulent activities on your bank account. So you can claim that through the bank. But if you're not aware,
just lose
you're
money.
incurring the cost yourself.
Yeah.
You just
That's
so
new one, man. Look at your bank statement. That's
yeah. So I'm gonna reiterate this again. Your bank statement and your budget are sisters. Your statement tells you where your money went. Your budget tells you where your money should have gone.
okay.
There shouldn't be a huge discrepancy between the two.
And maybe like okay, so like budgeting, how long do you think it should be taking you to do? Like a month?
What to set up a budget?
Yeah, like let's say let's say like
So here's the thing. Once you've set up your budget, right?
Yeah.
You've set up you know what your fixed costs are. So we touched on them, your rentals, your whatever, the ones that essentials for you to survive, right? Once you've set that up, and you know what you spend per month generally, right?
Yeah.
The variable side of things is a month-to-month thing, and it's just a few hours a month, You just sit down either a day, like on payday or a day before payday or whatever.
Okay.
It's not, you don't need more than 2 hours.
Okay.
Right? Because you already have an idea that every month my fixed costs are X amount, right? That's so I know when I pay this, I'm fed, I've got shelter, I'm clothed, I've saved. Right?
And you know what? I'm going to go out and say this because I'm a rapper and I can say it. The banks really need to kick in with this.
Yeah.
You know when you swipe your card at the banks, the reference they just give you on your statement, it's just a random, useless reference that you really cannot identify what that cost is.
What the cost was.
Let's say, for me example, right? I work, there's a spa next to me, right?
Yeah.
Most of my purchases for food go through that specific spa.
Yeah.
It would be so useful if there was a useful reference on my swiping transaction that I could identify to this specific spa.
Yeah.
But there isn't. It's random, it changes.
Like, these are $1 million ideas. Now you're putting them out.
No, but I'm throwing it out there. You know, if
But there is an app that can help you with that as well.
That's what the app keeps in. So what I did was that I downloaded an app. Whenever I made a purchase, I put in the amount, I put it in the category groceries, and I knew what it was.
And then you're losing me. Sorry, bro. Yeah.
yeah, go for it.
You're saying there's a reference that comes out on your slip. Mm-hmm. Okay. So how does that help? In
knowing where your money went. You,
Oh, okay. So you know that
can
it's
swipe.
from this spa.
Yes.
A
spa.
Okay, a spa at least.
You
So
know
that
it's
you at least
groceries.
can like
So
track down.
when you go through your statements, like we're suggesting you do, you can just
No, oh,
great
this went
ease.
here.
Groceries,
Oh, no,
groceries,
the
groceries,
groceries. Okay, I
groceries.
get you.
I spend X amount of
But right
money.
now you're saying what happened? It's just like
It's
random.
just a 59 rand there.
Yeah.
You bought potatoes,
And then there's
but
a
you
weird
don't know.
reference like
Exactly.
XXX, whatever. Yeah, so I get it, but I think it also depends on the establishment. Because certain establishments you actually see, oh, I pay
Can you?
X checkers. Yeah, certain establishments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who are you? Red, blue, green, or
Go in terms of banks.
No name, no name, no.
We're not endorsing any brands,
no.
but I'm blue.
Until somebody.
And blue and green and blue.
Green and blue. Oh yeah, no, I'm green.
Yeah, I'm green.
And yeah, I'm green.
Okay.
And you and Ndarkie?
And with green, the lighter green.
Well, I'm red and white.
The other account is offshore.
Switzerland.
What's the red and
It's on
blue
some
one?
island somewhere.
What's the red and blue one? The one they were called Mashonisas and those guys.
Yeah, okay.
They're there for creators, man. They look
But
after
I think the truth of the matter, the system needs to adapt to make finances for the men on the street a bit more easier.
True.
In my view.
So
Yeah.
So obviously, for practical purposes, for our listeners, the system will. It's always hard to change the system. It's,
No,
it's a Goliath.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But you can control the David part, which is
Yeah,
you.
and I think
So-
this is the kind of things that we're trying to kind of attack at. You know what I mean? Like the mere conversation of these things is taboo, especially to whatever to the average person. To the it's always coming from a kind of I don't know, a place where it's not as accessible in terms of information. So I know it's also I don't know, man. I think these conversations are important to happen. And I mean, I think a big thing that came from even us trying to do this platform is the whole thing of I think our literacy, like in terms of money, is one of the worst in the world. Like I think we have like 27% people who actually just like know. Who just understand like money. I think I think that was the statistic. I don't know if it's wrong. I'll just record the right one.
I'm probably thinking it could be far less. Do you know why? Because when we look, so I'm focusing on South Africa. Right?
Yeah.
So out of all South Africans who retire, like we hit retirement age, right? Only 3 to 6% are actually able to comfortably retire.
Yeah.
3 to 6%.
I can easily believe
That's
that.
shocking. I mean,
I can
you
easily
are
believe.
65. You've been working. Let's assume you started working at 25. Right? You've been working for 40 years, right? And then when you do decide, hey, I've given this life all I can, let me now enjoy it. You can't because you didn't retire, like you didn't save properly. Like that's a shocking.
The thing I sent you didn't say we're definitely like at the worst level, We're definitely like in the bottom in terms of just like our relationship and understanding of just like money and like small decisions to make, the small little correct decisions, which, as I said, I think we're trying to kind of talk more to, it's not about how much money you make, and that's been one of the greatest like wake ups that I've seen. It's not about how, dude, there's people, there's people with like no like money in the context of what we all know and understand is like having lots of money, but the things they're doing, man, like they will kind of, like they'll just be more like strategic. They'll be, but I think our challenge is right now. It's the creative.
TeethSwag, let me ask you a question.
Talk to me, bro.
In your own words, how do you see or how do you describe retirement to you? How do you see yourself? Like after 65, how do you see yourself?
Yo, man, like,
that is a whole series of topics.
Yo, man, like seriously.
I think this affects why I'm asking.
You're already out of my like imagination sphere. I'm.
That's a good point.
I'm literally.
You don't see yourself.
Dude, I've literally, even the questions that we think. It's probably about 2 months ago that I got to a point where it's like, wait a minute, this is actually important. Like, actually even having an understanding of stuff. So, I don't know. I've literally, for the first, like, 2-3 months ago, actually, I'm even embarrassed because I'm saying 2-3. It's like a month and 2 months ago where I've actually been trying to work out, okay, cool, I actually need to put money away. You get what I'm saying? I've never even thought that far. I think even being where I am now, in terms of, we're getting so much, like, in terms of information and in terms of understanding the importance of knowing what you're doing with your money and your ideas and how actually, if you seriously want people to back you and like invest in you and stuff like that, you need to think that far ahead in terms of things. So this is literally like the first time I've even been forced to think about those things, because you start realizing that in the way the world works, people need to know how prepared you are for so many things that are coming forward. And then you're kind of forced into a place of you have to learn if you want to know the thing. Especially if you're coming from a self-employed and you're trying to get, very much more into the entrepreneurship space. You need to be so much more aware of that for yourself, because you have to be aware for that for other people as well. If you've got employees and people working with you and all those kind of things. So I'm very not aware, and I'm like learning like as I go, and I've only recently understand. I know it's a thing that's important, but I've never like said like, yo, this is something that is important. And I've also honestly never understood that it's something that I can actually prepare for myself in the capacity as I am, because it's so unreachable. Let's say, like even when it seems like it's so unreachable, if you're in a position where maybe like you're like not working, but I've even realized that it's even achievable, dude. Like even if you can, there's places where you can put away 50 rand a month. I didn't even know that, So there's
I've got a few brands, but I feel like they need to pay for. I've got so many brands I could mention.
You can put them up. Don't be scared to put people who you think could help you.
These are concluding remarks. I've learned a lot, especially regarding really the phrase you used, your relationship with money. For me, I think budgets are critical to maintaining and improving your relationship with money. And I think it will probably be more important to creatives. I think from the reasons Ndarkie has been giving me throughout this podcast,
I'm a creative. I'm allowed to mess around. Ndarkie, you can only say that so many times. Afterwards, it's really not a solid thing.
In my opinion, everyone, creative or not, needs to continuously work towards improving their relationship with money.
So to wrap up, so for me, when it comes to money and finance, I'm more of a practical. Let's be practical. Let's not just theorize and stuff. So just to wrap up, what I've taken from this session, or what I hope our audience will take from this, is firstly attitude change. Right? If you're a self-employed creative, so you need to start changing your attitude towards money. Right? Because if you're a self-employed creative, you are a business person first, then a creative second. I know you might disagree, but if remember, you're producing your own art or your own music or your own whatever, right? So you're actually managing this business. It's a business. So you need to start thinking as a business person first, and then as a creative second, right? We need to start working towards attitude change. That's one.
Okay. Yeah.
2, look at your flipping bank statements.
Jeez.
Yo, that's gonna be so hard, bro.
This is your money. You work hard for it. Like there's no one else who's as accountable to your money as you are, and there'll never be anyone else who will be. You're creative, right? You're super talented individual.
Yeah.
It's not your forte. You're super talented at creating and making dreams come true.
Yeah.
Talk to people who know money and understand money, right? That's 1. 2, look at your bank statements.
Yeah.
Be accountable. 3, set up a budget. And when it comes to budgeting, I think I gave you a list of 4 different budgeting apps you can download. So I'm just going to list them. So Spendy, SPENDEE, Monify, Blue Coins, and My Budget Book. Those are like 4 where, pretty sure if you spend some time on one of those apps, you'll find one that you I've got one there's one I missed that's on my old phone. It's on the other phone. There's a cool budgeting app. Like I just need to, when I figure out what it was, I'll send it to you guys, and then you can share it with everyone. Okay, so anyway, under budgeting, download a good budgeting app or a budgeting spreadsheet. Be honest when you budget. Like, be honest with yourself. Identify your weaknesses, right? Put your savings under your essentials. Put your black tax under your variable.
Yeah.
And
variable, you're meaning that these aren't like constant.
Yeah, it's not constant
amount.
Yeah.
Month.
So that's your money that's left over to deal with month to month surprises, like little things.
Fresh. Yeah. Okay, cool. And small. Lovely Sonoya, do you have anything to add?
Just to wrap up?
Yeah, you also didn't answer the question about what you got up fades, huh?
So I don't want to plug in the brand names again because they need to pay us for this. But very good one. Like
I've said it enough times anyway.
It's good Chardonnay. It's a hot summer's day out here. Nice buzz.
No, the Chardonnay was nice. So is this. What is that? A Merlot?
What is Merlot? Yeah. So I didn't taste the Merlot, but
not Merlot. Not mellow.
No, but when you buy it, it's mellow. But once you pay that money, it's mellow. It's more.
So I've had it before a couple of times. The mellow, good choice.
Yeah.
What I did have in studio was the French Chardonnay, and it's very good.
Ndarkie, nice one, man. You made us look good. This is all on Ndakie's budget. My creative budget did not cover this. I bought plastic cups as well. Okay, and Smo, maybe you? What? Just your last, maybe little vision?
First, I did not have the wine.
Well, you're not drinking. We offered.
Your budget should be looking good.
And then with the budget, one thing I took from this that is, I feel, was a reiteration of what I know, is a budget is a way for you to be accountable to yourself as well. So, and I found that that's very important and really resonated with me. It's one of the most important things.
For sure. I think if there's one good thing, I know I've probably spent the whole hour seeming like I'm bashing creatives. But I'm a creative myself, so it just comes from like.
I'd like to hear what you took away from this.
Yeah.
Like,
no, man. Geez, but the thing is, like, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. Like, it's hard for me to even kind of quantify it. But I think the one thing that I like, and one thing that maybe I enjoy with character types like myself, on terms of what she said, is creatives. I know that I can have a thing of the whole thing of being accountable to myself is not a hard thing to do. It's not a hard thing to push. It's actually what we kind of wrestle with a lot. It's kind of like you fool yourself a lot into this creative genius, You get what I'm saying? But a lot of the struggle comes from that you are so super accountable to yourself.
Just to jump before, because I don't want to lose the train of thought. Changing your attitude towards money is one of the hardest things. So you raised the point of learning to be accountable. Being accountable is it's a learned process, right? It's a process you learn over time, right? So initially, one of the best things you can do is find someone who you trust, who's handling their money at least better than you are, right? They might not have perfected it, but at least they're handling it better.
They're better, yeah.
And have that person help you be accountable.
Let's wrap it up on the last topic of what's coming up. F1 on the mic, aka Ndarkie. The mixtape is coming.
Exactly, bro.
TeethSwag, what's coming up on your plate, guys?
Yo, man, there's lots of stuff, man. I'm just look, man. I'm looking forward to the mixtape. Maybe my advice to, not even advice to Kuda. I've always been on him about like how he needs to. I've told him, no, dude, you need a YouTube show. We've had lots of these conversations. He knows. Like, I think I'm just happy we did this, man. I'm hoping you're happy we did this.
Solid, man.
We were sure that the first one would suck. I think, like, he said that, man, the first one would suck. But like, I'm
But
just
it
happy,
lays the
man.
foundation.
I don't think it sucked though. That's
Yeah.
the thing. I'm happy with like I'm like, yo, man, like I'm just happy with what happened, and like I'm looking forward. Firstly, yeah, definitely having you back.
What do you have? Do you have any projects coming
Hey
up?
man, I just graduated from an Oxford program in financial technology.
Nice,
I'm still celebrating.
Sure. How long was the program?
So that was about 4 months, but it was quite
Intense, I'm sure. Yeah.
I mean, hey, I work for one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world right now. But I'm also looking at. I've been talking to a few people in Silicon Valley, just looking to make some waves in the fintech space, in the financial technology space. Like I wanna, like I'm involved in projects that I feel like Africa needs the most.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
so
You're more than
Things-
welcome to invest in the project.
So, but I mean, there's a lot we can tackle on, and I'm willing to avail myself to at least 30 episodes. Over the next year, because I'll be very honest, there is so much to cover. But I want to
that weekly touching.
Yeah. So there's something I added in my notes that I kind of skipped. I was like, what's important, especially for creative, is taking baby steps. I've had creatives who have never looked at their bank statement, never done a budget,
like me.
but are calling me up and saying, "Hey, nigga, I want to trade cryptocurrencies."
Yeah.
You're skipping a lot of steps. It's baby steps. Like, start with a fixed deposit account. It's just simple. It's one of the most simple things as a way to save. But anyway, we'll get
I
into
think
I'm
it's
done.
also like maybe if I think LinkedIn is is that still your main way?
I hear you on fire on Instagram. What's your handle on Insta?
Kuda_lifeslayer.
But
Live Slayer.
but the work is on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
So
So-
he's written some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
I write a lot of, I write articles on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Hit me up on LinkedIn. You can catch me on Instagram, or you can ask the guys in Ndarkie and TeethSwag for my contact
Shout
details.
out to the Goethe Institute for
Yeah,
hosting
yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah,
We are recording
studio.
in the studio.
Yeah.
So this is Ndarkie and TeethSwag giving you a shout out. Thank you for listening. We'll check you next time. Cheers.